Hi everyone. I have found a way to make a quicker mask. What has happened is I get 45 emails every single day asking me for hundreds and thousands of masks. And it became apparent to me that no matter how many you are all making, we have to go faster. So I've made a simpler pattern. I passed it through the hospitals. They approve it. Again, this is not for a surgeon. This is not for the people that have the professional mask. This is for people that just need a mask. We cannot no longer go into a hospital, go into facilities without masks anymore. That's what they're saying. They need masks. So I think if you stay with me, you can find this out. I said to myself, how am I going to get sewers to sew more? I think I got the answer. First of all, I have the pattern all typed up and made for you. So this will be able to find on our websites. All that we're doing is using an 8 by 11 inch piece of fabric. Now I know you all got fabric at home and you can cut an 8 by 11, let me make sure it's not 11 and a half. No, 8 by 11 inch piece of fabric is all we need. We still need 2 so that we can tell the inside and the outside of the masks. We're still going to put a pocket in them. So what I want you to do is I'm going to show both ways how to do it on a serger and a sewing machine at once. And if you just stay with me for 5 minutes, we'll have this and you'll understand. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I have to finish off the top edge of the mask for the simple fact that I have to be able to have a pocket. And by finishing off both those edges, I have a pocket. Now I'm going to use a serger and I'm just serging down my seam. What a serger does is it cuts off the edges a little bit and finishes the seam at the same time. The joy of a serger is you don't have to stop between fabrics to go from one side to the other side. See how I just went around and cut it? Okay, so I'm turning it over and I can run down a straight stitch. But since you're listening to me, I'm always interested in making you learn the most of your sewing machines. So I'm going to turn it to a number 12. It's called a 3-step zigzag. I bet you have it on your machine. And I want you to watch what it's doing now. It's taking 3 steps. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. See, I can slow this down so you can see real easily. Isn't that nice? Okay, so it's taking 3 steps for every zag. But it's going to hold it better than a straight stitch. I very seldom use a straight stitch for when I'm doing anything but just piecing. I'm going to come on down. I'm going to reverse it. And on here, on my machine, I've got a cutter. If you have a cutter on your machine, use it. Heavenly feature. See, now it's cut. Now I don't have to worry on this sewing machine that I have to hold my threads or anything. I just get to sew. All I did was sew down my edges, and I got to sew down another one. Can't go that slow though. Okay, so all I did was finish the top of my pocket. Now all I'm going to do is to take my 2 pieces right side together and I'm going to finish this seam by going zip, zip, and zip. Let's do it on a serger because it's easier for me. So all I have to do is to take my 2 pieces of fabric. I don't have to worry about that being turned down. That's a finished edge. Good enough for what I'm doing. I'm now just going to sew my pieces together. So now I am 90% finished with my mask. At this point, what I have to do is to fold it inside, right side out. At this point in our life, perfection isn't the most important thing. Making another mask is. Okay, so I folded it. Of course, you can press if you were doing something important, you could press. It's not necessary to press for what I'm doing. It's just not worth it. So now I have to make strings. To make strings, I am just going to take a piece of fabric. I have one here, right here ready for me. And if you have a serger, I need you to do nothing more than to just fold your fabric in half, wrong sides together, and I'm putting the edge of my presser foot like about a quarter of an inch away, and that's going to be a perfect, good enough strap. Do you see how I just made that strap? There's no reason to turn that inside and out, for it's going to be washed 15 times, 20 times. It's going to be strong enough. For you folks that got a sewing machine, I'm going to take my fabric, and all you need is about 45 inches, but you're going to turn it, and you can basically turn it, and turn it again. Now there's all kinds of binding tools. You can bind them on a serger. The point thing right here, right now, I just need speed. So I'm going to turn it and I'm going to fold it over again. And I'm using it a little bit bigger for the fact of a video, but I don't need it to be more than an inch this way. So let's close this one down a little bit so it looks more like what I need out of view. So instead of folding and folding, let's turn it and turn it back down. And you remember that 3-step zigzag I told you is a much stronger stitch than a straight stitch or a zigzag. So let's go to the right foot control. Here I go. See how it's going 1, 2, 3, and then see how easy it is just to hold this and hold this over. And I'm making a perfect tie that's going to last, and it's going to go through washing after washing after washing. Super easy way to do it. Use my cutter, and I've got a nice tie made right there for me to be able to use. So this does not have to match. You can make up a whole bunch of ties by going 45 inches across your fabric, whatever you want to do. This is a strip 45 inches long. So all we did was folded it and did it how I told you, but it's right across the pieces of the fabric, 1.5 inches all the way across. So now what I have to do is I want to put a dart in here. So what I'm after now is I'm looking for this appearance. So here's a finished piece. You see my serger edge? There's going to be an opened edge there for my pocket. Now, what I have to do now is I have to fold it in half. I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to insert my tie right here. So I'm going to sew it, double it, sew it, and go right on down. We want 3 inches from the end. What that's going to do is give the mask the nose. It's going to give enough room for the nose. So all I'm doing is folding this in half, and at the open edge where your pocket is, I'm going to insert my string. I am now going to stitch right on down here. If you have a serger, you got to go to a sewing machine, because that's going to hold it much, much, much better to be able to do. So see how the string is coming out this way. So all I have to do now is sew from my corner. Notice how much higher I can lift my presser foot. Do you see this? See if you can do that on your machine. Some people don't even know it. Bring it on down. I'm sewing with a regular straight stitch now, and I'm going to sew. I'm going to reverse. I'm going to sew, and I'm coming down to a 3-inch interview here, from here to here. And now my strap is held in securely. I'm going to reverse, and I could have told my machine, I'm going to show you now, I'm going to cut it. But now what I'm going to do, just for you to know, I can go over here to my machine and I can tell it every time I reverse, I want it to cut at the same time. What a joy that is. So do you see what I did? So I've sewed this a couple times up here, reversed it, because that's going to hold in my tie. So my tie has to come to the other side. I'm doing the same exact thing. I'm stitching from my corner right here straight on down 3 inches. So I'm stitching here quite a few times up here because that's holding that tie in. Do you see what I'm doing? And then we're going to just, I'm going to reverse it. Of course, none of us, oh gosh, I told it to reverse it and I shouldn't have, hold on. Start sewing. And we're coming down to the 3 inches. I'm going to reverse. Now watch this little trick. It's going to cut for me. I don't have to even push the cutter. Here I go. I've reversed up here. I've made it in. And there is my mask. And there is, watch. Remember the 2 darts I just made? There's my mask coming out. Okay, so you see, it goes over my nose and goes over my chin. So I'm completely protected here, 100%, and it's tight here. Again, so then the ties, you can cut them in half so that you can tie them. So when you just come to here, you had your 45 inches, which is easier now, cut it in half so that it can tie up on it. It fits, we've had it fit everybody. We've had it fit the men, we've had it fit women, and it's done a pretty good job. Okay, probably can't hear me. So now I cut the ties. The only other thing I'm going to ask you to do is to take and do just a slip knot tie at the end. It's not that it's going to fall apart, it's that they get caught in the laundries. So that right there helps a little bit. So that's something we can do in 2 seconds. So it's just one little extra tip. The hospitals are sanitizing all of these. So let's get them done as good as we can. Okay, now I left the little dart there. Do you see the little dart that's made right there? I left it in. It's more protection. It's a little bit more in there. Their pocket is still there to be able to add the tissues or the paper towel or whatever they have that the individual wants to use. But this is strong enough at this present moment to help out most of us. I think if you take my challenge and try it, I think you're going to see, oh my gosh, it's so much faster. And at this time in our life, we need more. And so maybe this could get more from every sewer, which will help protect our people here. So I know you all have people all across the world that are working on these, and we couldn't be more proud. Try this thing, see how you like it. And we hope to see you again soon.